Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on Superman and Lois Season 2. And this will be my review and breakdown for Superman and Lois Season 2, Episode 11, titled Truth and Consequences. Yes, I know. Who would have thought that I had the time to do a Superman and Lois video? But yeah, finally, I had the time to do a Superman and Lois video, and thankfully, I was able to do a video on this, considering that we are going to be on break for 2 weeks again. So yeah, this was a great episode to pretty much end off with, and then of course 2 weeks later we're going to pick up. But yeah, just giving you guys my quick initial thoughts on this episode before I go more in detail with a review and breakdown. I really enjoyed this episode. Once again, Superman and Lois delivered another phenomenal episode. This episode was just shot incredibly beautifully. I really loved the way they got all the characters involved in this episode. All the family interactions and dynamics felt really natural, and it was just really great. We of course had that family conflict going around about Clark's identity as well, which was something I did really like. We got to see more of Jordan as Superboy, which was also great to see. And we do kind of progress with this story. It isn't that much of a progression, but it is still progression. And also that ending, what an absolutely beautiful ending that we certainly need to discuss as well. But of course, for those who haven't seen the episode, then spoiler alert, because this is a review and breakdown after all, so I'll be going over some major spoilers which you certainly would want to hear from me. So for those who haven't seen the episode, go watch the episode and come back later for this breakdown. But for those who are staying, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. But yeah, this episode kicks off right where we left off from the previous two episodes, where we have Bizarro Jonathan arriving at the Kent farm, and of course he mentions that he's looking for Jonathan, and is of course to merge them together because he has the pendant in possession. But yeah, he does attempt to merge with our Jonathan, but this is until Jordan tries to stop him, but he just gets beaten up pretty badly, and that's of course due to the experience Bizarro Jonathan has compared to Jordan, who's only been training for a bit. But Bizarro Jonathan and Jonathan actually begin to merge, and this was actually a really intense scene, and I actually thought something was going to happen, but Superman just arrives and saves the day. He does exit the portal quite late, but yeah, Superman is back to our world after 1 month of being missing. Now, Clark does tell the family about the Bizarro world and how twisted their family was over there due to him, not keeping his identity a secret. He was full-on Superman over there. He was no Clark Kent or anything like that. And of course, he does mention how Anderson died. He does mention the situation with Jonathan, his family. And of course, most importantly, how Ali was able to merge with her other self and how she became much more powerful because of that. And of course, she's going to become a huger threat based off that. They do also talk about the visions Jonathan had prior to encountering Bizarro Jonathan. And Clark does mention how they could see essentially what Bizarro Jonathan is doing through these visions, as it is pretty much the same thing that happened between him and Bizarro during the first few episodes of the season. But yeah, we do also have John Henry Irons joining in, and then we have Clark, Lois, and John Henry obviously discussing what's going on. And this is until Jonathan gets a vision, and he begins to locate exactly where Bizarro Jonathan is, which is near a cafe, going after Lana. He tells Clark, and of course Clark rushes there to confront Bizarro Jonathan. However, he does encounter Lana, and he does kind of, try to rush the conversation which Lana starts, because Lana does want to catch up with Clark, because after all, he's been missing for a month. So she's trying to catch up, trying to understand what's going on. And of course, Clark doesn't know what's going on in this world because he's been away for a month and he didn't realize. But because of Clark trying to rush this conversation, Lana does feel bothered by it and she just leaves. And while that's happening, Bizarro Jonathan does disappear. But this is when we have Clark and Lois talking about what happened, and she does mention that Clark has been gone for a month, which Clark then obviously realizes because time is different in the Bizarro world, where he's only been gone for a day. So yeah, Clark has missed quite a lot. Lois does mention that Clark has been away for an assignment, and also Lana winning the election. And this, of course, gave such a priceless reaction to Clark, because it was just a super sweet moment, and this is of course because his best friend won the election. So this was such something which I really liked, and it was a moment I really enjoyed in the episode as well. Now, Clark does also get the reveal in regards to who was behind Jonathan's ex-kryptonite selling, and of course that was Candace. And we do have a bit of family conflict going around in regards to why Jonathan was keeping this a secret, and then Jonathan's like, who are you to say this when you've been keeping this as a secret for 14 years? So we do have this conflict going around between like Clark's identity and all those sorts of stuff. And also we do have Sarah helping Lana move to her office because she did of course get elected as mayor, and she is also given a car which she's really happy about, and she gets really excited about this, and she does go for a drive to Lana's office to obviously help out. And this is until she's encountered by Bizarro Jonathan, in which Sarah doesn't know what's going on. She thinks that this is the real Jonathan, but he begins to like act all disrespectful and weird, and this is of course when Sarah gets weirded out and drives off. But we then have Bizarro Jonathan going after Lana, and Lana is confusing her as to why Jonathan just walked in. Yeah, we just have Bizarro Jonathan just speeding in and just knocking her out. Lois does go to pay a visit to Lana in the office, but of course doesn't find Lana over there. Instead, finds Sarah, and they do talk about Jordan for a bit, and Lois does mention that their family have been having a hard time lately. And we do also have this interaction between the two where Lois does also talk about these bunch of exes she used to have. It was a great moment between these two which they shared, which was something I really liked. But then Sarah mentions what's up with Jonathan, which of course Lois is confused about until she realizes that Bizarro Jonathan is up to no good. This does also allow Lois to essentially connect the dots, and it explains why Lana is not at the office yet. So she could have been in danger, considering that Bizarro Jonathan was after Lana during the cafe as well. So Lois is of course suspicious about something, in which Lois does of course tell Clark about this. But yeah, we do have Bizarro Jonathan essentially taking Lana to some hangar, and they do have this interaction with each other, which of course Lana does think that this is the real Jonathan. She thinks it's just the ex-kryptonite messing with him, but of course Bizarro Jonathan does try to explain what's going on, but Lana just doesn't buy it. She thinks just he's going nuts because of what's going on with this ex-kryptonite. But he does essentially put the pendant around her and wait for Bizarro Lana to appear, which of course we do see later on in the episode as well. But Sarah then appears in the Kent farm because she is beginning to get worried, and she does ask Lois what's happening. But of course Lois does end up lying to her. She's like, okay, I'll make a bunch of different phone calls, I'll try to find out what's going on. But of course Lois knows what's up. She knows that Bizarro Jonathan is the one that took her. And we do also have Jordan trying to give this letter to Sarah, which he wrote throughout the episode as well, which was pretty stupid considering the situation Sarah is at the moment. So, like, a letter is like the last of her priorities right now because her mother is missing. Like, she didn't even come to the office, which she should have. So she is really worried about something. Yeah, Jordan should have pretty much understood that this wasn't the right moment, but also of course Jordan was also pretty desperate about this as well. But yeah, we do also have more family conflict going around about Clark's identity and how the truth is of course leading to some bad consequences, and the fact that Lana didn't know his identity is of course what prevented him from being able to grab hold of Bizarro Jonathan in the first place. We did also have Clark mentioning how the Bizarro world was pretty much what would have happened had his identity not been a secret all along, and everything there was just for the worst. So he does of course use this as an argument, which then Lois did tell Clark that this is not the same situation because things are different over here than they are in the Bizarro world. And they do also mention like their parenting abilities and all those sorts of stuff. So she does essentially tell Clark that what's going on over here is much different. But of course, while that is happening, Jonathan ends up getting another vision in which he finds out where Bizarro Jonathan is, and that is of course at the hangar where he took Lana. So we have Superman arriving to the area, but he fell for the trap, which is a kryptonite bomb. We have literally like kryptonite shards covering him, like he's covered in kryptonite shards. He's so weak. And we have Jonathan essentially delivering the final blow by stabbing him with kryptonite as well, thinking that he pretty much killed Superman. But of course we do have him like still breathing. We do know he's still alive, but of course Jonathan doesn't realize that yet. So yeah, we do have a couple of different quests going around. So we have Lana trying to remove all the kryptonite from Superman so that Superman's of course able to catch Bizarro Jonathan and defeat him. But while that is happening, we do also have Natalie and John Henry in the mines as they're trying to look for pieces of X kryptonite to build something. And while that is happening, we do actually have Bizarro Lana popping up, which of course is Superwoman. We do of course have this mini fight between John Henry and Bizarro Lana, in which we have John Henry blasting Bizarro Lana with what it seems to be some sort of like red sun blaster, which of course would make a Kryptonian weaker on this world. But because of it being the primary reason for why it's essentially powering up Kryptonians in the Bizarro world, Bizarro Lana essentially gets powered up by this, and she just pretty much destroys John Henry. And that is until, of course, Natalie comes in clutch and she stabs Bizarro Lana with X kryptonite, which is her weakness in this world. But we do have Bizarro Jonathan arriving to the Kent farm as well, and we do have him facing off against Jordan, so we do have a rematch. But because it's daytime, we have Jordan essentially getting more of the upper hand. We do have Jonathan, of course, getting the upper hand at times due to him being more experienced, but Jordan in this situation is much more powerful because of the yellow sun, which is making him more powerful, but makes Bizarro Jonathan weaker because it is what essentially depowers him. It's a really, really cool fight. We do of course see Jordan properly like fly around, beat Jonathan up, and it was just really sick to see. Having this Superboy versus Superboy, it was just great, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite moments in the episode. But of course, after Jordan defeats Bizarro Jonathan, he does begin to like lose control when he's flying, and he's beginning to fall down. And this is when Superman comes in after Lana removed all the kryptonite from him, and he pretty much saves everyone. And then of course we do have Jordan delivering the final punch to Bizarro Jonathan. We do then have Superman telling Lana about what's going on and how this wasn't actually the real Jonathan Kent. This was actually from another world, and there are many different versions of this as well. But yeah, we do see like in this moment that Clark was about to tell her, like you do see that he really, really wanted to do it, but he pretty much just chickened out. And of course, later on in the episode, then he does end up making the big reveal. But we do also have this interaction between Natalie and John Henry, in which we do have Natalie trying to understand what's going on, and we do have Natalie pretty much being concerned in regards to what's happening to John Henry. And then we do have her like activating this AI, and she herself comes across some like a bunch of different weapons, and I'm guessing this is for herself to use later on. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's just to build onto John Henry's suit, but I think they're definitely setting something up with Natalie over here where she will potentially become Steel as well. That would be pretty damn cool. But during the end of the episode, we do of course have Clark telling the family that, okay, that's it, I'm gonna tell Lana my secret identity, in which of course Jordan, Jonathan, and Lois are on board with it. It's about time he finally does it. And when he of course approaches Lana, this is of course something very stressful for him, because this was something that he really, really wanted to tell Lana for so long, but he had to keep it a secret. And like he's struggling to tell Lana, like he doesn't know what to say. Eventually he does of course mention that he was there when everything has happened to Lana. He does take the glasses off and starts to fly off. It was incredibly beautifully shot. It was such a beautiful scene at the same time as well. But yeah, Lana gets the reveal that Clark Kent is Superman, and I'm really, really excited to see and interested to see what's going to happen next. Is Lana going to be happy about this, or is she going to be one of those people that goes, oh, you've lied to me about this for so long, how do you expect us to be good, like what's happened with previous Arrowverse shows? So yeah, hopefully they're on good terms next episode. I haven't seen the promo yet, so I don't really know if they show anything or not. But yeah, hopefully everything is all good, and I'm really, really interested to see where this storyline goes next episode as well. But yeah, as I said, overall, it was a really, really good episode. It was a great episode to end off with before another 2-week break. So yeah, I guess we'll continue with Superman and Lois in 2 weeks time. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards this as well. And yeah, I will see